When COSATU was established in 1985, it was the youth of that time that united for the advancement of worker rights and struggles. 40 years later, there is a misconception that young people aren't as actively involved in the trade union movement, that it is only when they face challenges with their employer that they approach trade unions. You're a young person. Tell us more about yourself and how you got interested in trade unions.
Firstly, we need to correct the perception that they're not unionist, and also to check on which market who is affected mostly. Because most of young people, they joined the trade union movement, they joined workplaces through different aspects, to say, an intern, EPWP, so the fixed contract workers, those are problematic things. And also another thing is this thing of the Uber drivers and the platform work. So you might find that, say, these young people, they don't know where to join. Look at a platform. How do you organize a platform work? How to introduce, so that when COSATU came in with the call center thing, it started when it started to receive many calls from young people when they got problems in their workplaces. So those what we need to understand, to say, how do you get introduced to a trade union movement? How do you become unionized? Firstly is that in the workplaces that we are in, let's say, because I'm from public sector, I'm working in a hospital services, I'm a member of NEHAW. How did I know about NEHAW? For sometimes we might find that young people start to know it from the moment I get into the employment sector. And some, but now, because we are fortunate, we are working with structures that are there through our affiliates. So we have a student chapter that organizes students in the institution of higher learning who want to become teachers, enrolling in the education, Bachelor of Education. So when we have those student chapter, it's where they understand to say, oh, by the way, when I became a teacher, I might be in a union that called COSATU that is there. There's a universal student movement which was going through the campuses where they are training nurses for 4-year course, they recruited those ones. So there's a space where they got more interested. And also when COSATU came into having the structure of young workers, which end up being absorbed in the Progressive Youth Alliance movement, it's when we started to share what is the role of children, so that they can know when we're in a relation doing a lot of things together, to say, okay, if I become employed, I might join the union. And remember, a trade union, it doesn't represent those who are employed by that party, and also those who are still looking for jobs. We can able to represent why maybe to expand it to the person that is not there, to say, when you apply a job in the workplace, we sit as a stakeholders for the interview and the shortlisting process, so that the fair process you can see in terms of the Employment Equity Act, to say, yes, we have the necessity of looking there. That's the role of a trade union, to say, here we've got a shortage of staff. We must push the employer so that it can able to appoint people. We have a staff, a labor, so that can assist. So mine to join the union is that I started I'm from the village that is called Dan Village in Zanini, where it was a center of politics around it, where the likes of Comrade Kasal Matale, who's the Deputy Minister of Police, is coming from, where he started to lead the youth formation by then, before I even was born. And fortunately, because I'm coming from the same street with him, I could see this Kasal Matale, the ANC, that you want to know this person. For me, I had to say, okay, my aunt she was involved in politics, they're the same generation. So I was like looking into say, these people, they go to the meetings, they're going to meet, and what is happening actually in politics that you want to understand. So we end up there in a family of politics. In the street where I'm coming from, there's one guy called Fokat Matebula. He was in exile, he was killed in exile in Mozambique. He had to be brought back. So you learn to say, what is happening actually here? And then when I was, unfortunately, I did my high school at grade 12, at grade 8, I was 12 years, I was still young. Immediately I got to school. People saw potential in me. They elected me to lead COSATU as a branch treasurer. And when we started there, by the time Julius was in the province, before he became the president of COSATU, that's when we mobilized, and I started into loving politics from then. I joined the politics of the Puaye movement, led the youth league. Immediately I got to the workplace because of my political movement. I joined in April. Around the last term of the year, there was a BGM of Nehao. And people say, the members there in the workplace, they say, she can lead us. Until today, I'm a shop steward. 14 years all along, I'm still a shop steward in my workplace. It's because people saw potential in me. And then when it came there, I've learned a lot. I don't want to lie. You see, trade movement, we have this umbrella of saying they are problematic people. They always strive for strikes, they cause havoc in the workplaces. But get into the trade union movement. It's then you understand, oh, by the way, there's an eye-opening. There's a policies that I need to. I must represent people. Representation. You fight, actually you got into the middle to fight for the community, for the patients, for the employees. Like you are the center of the whole. You are the cream, actually, of everything. You champion all the interests of every individual South African. You know you'll be knowing loss by heart. You can be, you lose a focus of saying you are a mother to a child or you become a leader of everyone. You need to be there, availability to help them. So when I love about trade movement is that it had shaped to be who I am today. I've learned a lot of things. Even tomorrow can wake me up and say, if we're going to the recruitment policies, what is it? I will, as narrator said, even you can wake me in the morning. That's how things are. Midnight, you are always forever. And being a trade union is that the person must be forever available to assist, to guide. And also, you need to secure and make sure that the policies that have been there have been put by the state, by the government, must be implemented by the employer. And another thing is that when we see employer is not an enemy, but a stakeholder. Some of the workplaces differs to say we see the employer as an enemy of progress. But ours is to guide the misconceptions and the wrongdoings of the employer. So that's how it makes us to be a trade unionist. And today I'm proud to say, for the 14 years that I've been employed and being a trade unionist, I've never lost everything. I've gained a lot. In terms, even if today you can say, what does the LRA means in terms of recruitment, in terms of what, I know that one. Because I can stand to say, I can represent a member and come back victoriously. That's what I know. Thank you so much. And that's my interest of trade union movement.